2 years after our breakup at a class reunion, my ex-girlfriend's best friend suddenly asked, "Do you still love Liu Ruyan?" I smiled, shook my head, and showed her my ring, saying, "I've been married for a long time." She sighed. "You should go see her when you have a chance. She's dying." Even her white moonlight begged me through tears to see her one last time, saying that since I left, that once untouchable woman had gone mad, kneeling and kowtowing 300 times a day just to beg for my forgiveness. They always said Liu Ruyan was an ice queen who couldn't be warmed. Her aloofness scared off every other guy, but I persisted, chasing her relentlessly until she finally became my girlfriend. Yet, a month before our wedding, she secretly planned to undergo IVF with her mentor's son, just to fulfill the old man's dying wish to have a grandchild. Faced with such an absurd demand, I held back for a long time, but eventually, I reached my breaking point. I begged her, "Liu Ruyan, we're getting married in a month. How can you go have a child with someone else? Don't you see how insane that is?" But she just replied with a blank face, "My teacher is dying, and his only wish is to see Heqiang happy and have a child of his own. He has no one else to turn to, only me. Besides, it's just IVF, it's not like we'll actually be intimate." My phone suddenly buzzed. I looked down to see a screenshot Heqiang had sent of their chat. "Ruyan, my dad can't hold on much longer. Forget about Xiaoyu, let's just go do the IVF, okay? I'm begging you." And Liu Ruyan's reply was, "Okay, I'm on my way." I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. I finally realized why she had rushed off earlier. I couldn't describe how I felt. All my emotions were bottled up, weighing on me until I couldn't breathe. I wanted to scream and cry, but I was too drained to even let it out. I looked into the mirror and barely recognized myself. The sorrow etched between my brows was like thick, indelible ink. I was a shadow of my former self. To win her love, I had completely lost myself, only to be repaid with her choosing to have a child with another man right before our wedding. A thought of total resignation crossed my mind. If she cared so little for our relationship and marriage, then to hell with it all. With that, I took a deep breath, typed out a post, hid it from Liu Ruyan, and hit send. Getting married in a month, looking for a new bride. Anyone interested? Maybe they thought I was joking. Most people just left playful comments, taking it as a prank. Just as I was feeling dejected, my phone rang. Bai Ningbing? Seeing that name after all this time, I froze for a second. Bai Ningbing and I were childhood sweethearts. In school, she was the campus beauty, and I was the heartthrob. We were natural rivals, bickering from kindergarten all the way through high school and college. We went to different universities in different cities, and our paths drifted apart. In college, I fell for Liu Ruyan at first sight, skipping every holiday break just to pursue her. After graduation, I settled in Haicheng for her and never saw Bai Ningbing again. The only contact we had was when I posted about finally marrying the person I loved, and she randomly commented, "Can you not get married?" I thought she was looking for trouble again and ignored her, but I never expected her to be the first one to reach out. I answered the phone already bracing myself for her mockery, but as soon as the call connected, she skipped the small talk and went straight to the point. "Xiaoyu, if you need a new bride, how about me?" Silence hung heavy in the air after she spoke. I wasn't sure of her motives, but I knew she was the perfect choice. We were well matched and knew each other inside out. After a long silence, I finally replied, "Fine, what are your conditions?" "No conditions. Since we're getting married, just change my contact name from annoying to wife." The request was so simple it caught me off guard, so I asked again, "Just that?" "Just that. Also, whatever other couples have, I want the same." This request surprised me even more. I had assumed she only agreed because of pressure from her family. For years, I chased after Liu Ruyan, and since she wasn't interested in marriage, I never pushed her. Having finally plucked this high-reaching flower, I didn't dare to ask for more. But with my grandfather's health failing and his wish to see me married, I had no choice but to propose to her. Now, with the wedding date approaching, she makes such an absurd demand. I gripped my phone tight. I never intended for this to be a fake marriage. If we marry, it's for real. She chuckled on the other end. "In that case, I'm coming to Haicheng to pick you up so we can discuss the marriage registration and the wedding." I paused for a moment. "Give me half a month to wrap up some loose ends." She didn't ask what those were, but we both knew she was talking about Liu Ruyan. If this is a real marriage, then everything from the past must be left behind. Bai Ningbing said nothing more and hung up. The first thing I did was change her contact name. Looking at the name wife on my screen, a mocking smile tugged at my lips. "Liu Ruyan, you hid the fact that you were having a child with someone else, so I'll hide the fact that I'm changing the bride." Over the next few days, Liu Ruyan didn't come home, and I didn't ask why. I just quietly contacted my friends to take back the invitations I had sent out. Since she said she didn't want a fuss, we hadn't planned a big wedding, inviting only a few close friends. They were shocked to hear the wedding was off. "Why cancel so suddenly? Haven't you two always been rock solid?" Hearing their questions, I only felt a bitter taste in my mouth. Rock solid? Me chasing Liu Ruyan while she remained cold as ice? Yes, that was certainly consistent. The only thing consistent in this relationship was me, not her. She always looked down from her pedestal, watching me fall for her, but now, I'm done. In the end, I didn't hide it and chose to be honest, telling them the bride had changed. When I said that, no one took it seriously. They just laughed it off as friendly banter. I get it, though. I used to be so obsessed with Liu Ruyan that I ignored her coldness. If someone else had done the same, I wouldn't believe them either. But it doesn't matter. I'll prove to everyone with my actions that this time, I'm truly done. After I recalled all the invitations, Liu Ruyan finally came home shortly after I did. She's usually so poised and pristine, but her white dress was wrinkled and her eyes were bloodshot. I could tell she wasn't doing well. Seeing me, the first thing she said matched exactly what I had just done. "Let's call back those wedding invitations. My teacher passed away. I need to observe a 6-month mourning period so we can't get married." She expected me to throw a fit, knowing how much I'd pushed for this wedding and how my grandfather was waiting for it. She had her speech ready, but I just replied calmly, "Understood, my condolences." Liu Ruyan was taken aback, feeling like I'd become a completely different person since that night. Though my attitude was strange, she was too exhausted to dwell on it. She rubbed her tired temples and spoke again. "The memorial service is today. She mentioned you before she passed, so I'm taking you to pay your respects." I didn't like Heqiang, but I had nothing against the kind-hearted teacher. He probably never imagined his son would go as far as hiring a surrogate to fulfill his wish. Out of respect for the deceased, I nodded and agreed. After changing, Liu Ruyan took me to the funeral. As soon as we arrived, we heard a voice choked with tears. "Ruyan!" I looked over and saw Heqiang, dressed in mourning clothes, collapsing to the ground in tears. "Heqiang!" Liu Ruyan gasped and rushed over to him in a few quick strides. She cradled him gently, and without looking up, she said to me, You go ahead and pay your respects, I'll stay here with him. Seeing her so tender and concerned, anyone would think He Chang was her boyfriend. If I had seen them like this before, I probably would have caused a scene right there. But now, I just glanced at them, turned away without a word, and walked toward the hall. Surprised by my indifference, Liu Ruyan looked up, that strange feeling washing over her again. But as he whispered her name, her attention was pulled right back to him. She helped him aside and began to comfort him carefully. I paid my respects to the teacher, bowed 3 times, and then walked over to the pale-faced woman nearby. My condolences, ma'am. The teacher's wife nodded, acknowledging me as she took my hand. You must be Ruyan's boyfriend. Thank you for coming to see him. I heard you two were supposed to get married. He's such a devoted boy, insisting on mourning for half a year. It must be hard on you. I just listened quietly, keeping my thoughts to myself and saying nothing about the absurd things Liu Ruyan and her son were planning. Seeing the pain in my eyes, his mother couldn't help but let out a deep sigh. We watched Ruyan grow up, and since Lin was her mentor from college through her PhD, she's just being sentimental. Please don't blame her. Since the bride has already changed, I certainly don't blame her. I understand. Seeing me so understanding, his mother spoke up again, unable to hold back certain things. Don't mind He Chang. Even though he's always clinging to her, I can tell she doesn't feel that way about him. She really does love you. I stiffened slightly at her words. Love me? I hadn't noticed. Seeing my disbelief, she continued earnestly, Child, I'm not lying to you. Lin and I always thought she was too buried in her medical research to love anyone, until you came along. She never showed it openly, but she'd always mention you, how she ran into you, the meals you cooked, or the silly things you did to win her over. Even if it sounded like she was complaining, we knew she was just in love without realizing it. She listed all the ways Liu Ruyan cared, but to me, it all sounded like a cruel joke. Maybe I would have been happy to hear this once, but now it just felt ironic. If Liu Ruyan really loved me, why couldn't I feel it at all? Why was I always the one chasing after her, while she never once stopped to wait for me? If she loved me, how could she have a child with another man? The moment she agreed to have a child with He Chang, there was no turning back. We were truly over. Throughout the memorial service, Liu Ruyan stayed by He Chang's side. When it ended, it started to rain, and the guests began to leave one by one. She finally pulled up in her car and said coldly, Get in.